Hey, what's going on YouTube? Aaron here, and I just wanted to do a quick video and what I wanted to say was wow. I feel like anyway, I mean the title of the video says it all, but it says the majority of it. But so I told my dad about my sexuality and why am I putting this on YouTube, you ask? I don't know. I guess this is just a society where people are more open with stuff going on with them, and I figured I'd make a video. I also like YouTube because it sort of chronicles you at different points in your life. You know, like I like the fact that I started doing videos a few years ago, and I can look back on where I was then and sort of see a progression. Hopefully, a more mature me is before you. And I think the fact that I'm even doing a video like this is a more mature me. But anyway, so yeah, I told my dad about my sexuality. I sent him an email, and that's what I told him. Because, okay, why did I tell him via email? Because of the fact that when it comes to subjects that can be potentially very touchy, you don't always get to say everything that you necessarily want to say or say it the way that you want to say it and sort of get everything out because, you know, tempers and emotions can be high. So I felt as though the best way was to, in this case, that's not how I've always done it, but in this case, send an email. So I sent an email. It did take him a little while to respond, which was interesting because normally he sort of gets right back to me. But anyway, he did eventually call me. It just so happened that I was working at the time, and I keep my phone on silent. And to conserve battery power, don't even get me started on that, I'll turn it into airplane mode because the battery will just run out. So I often miss a lot of calls or whatever, but you know I'll call you right back when I get to it. And when I see that like I missed your call and if it's a good time. So anyway, the first night he did call me back, like I said, the second night or something like that, and I missed his call, but I got his voicemail message, and he basically said on the voicemail message, you know, you're still my son, I love you, and nothing's gonna change that, and I really appreciate that. Like that meant and means still a lot to me. You know, I really appreciate that. One thing that I realized though is after I told him well, after he got back to me, it was kind of late when I got the message, so I called him the next day. But I got his voicemail, which is like, okay, you know, sometimes I'll get his like rarely, but most of the time he'll kind of like pick up and just be like, hey, you know, I can't really talk right at this moment. But this time, you know, I got his voicemail, and I was like, you know, it's not like I've never gotten his voicemail before, so that's fine. And then I said, well, let me send him a text message. You know, he does the whole text message thing. And I realized, well, after I sent him the text message, you know, I was saying the whole thank you, you know, you really made me smile. And at the time, I wasn't in the best of moods for another reason. But I was like, that really was right on time. You know, that was a blessing. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your understanding and all of that. And I just, you know, I'm just me. So I appreciate your accepting me as me, your son. But he didn't get back to me. And I realized that it might sort of be a situation like, and maybe somebody could say, well, the problem that you have is the fact that you send emails. But I realize it might be one of those situations that it's like, I'll, I sort of realize that my family is really kind of conservative, but underneath a guise, I don't know if that's the right word, but underneath a thin layer of liberal. I don't know if that makes any sense. But so the layer of liberal might be like, hey, okay, well, I understand and I appreciate, and that layer of liberal might want to understand. But then I think that that conservative underbelly might be like, I don't really know. And part of me, and maybe I'll try calling again, but I've not had to do that before to really get a response. So I don't know. I realized that might have been what was said because it's the right thing to say, and it's how he feels, but it might also, there might be more to that feeling, like a feeling of, I don't know how I feel about this, because that can have other ramifications for your life and our life and the family in general. And I realize that there might be a little bit more to his feelings. All of that to say that it's almost like, y'all are going to give me too much for this. There was this woman that I was talking with, and we were close. And I always say, not always say, but I often say that if I was of a different sexuality, that she'd probably be my wife by now. By actually like a few years ago. But, it, I told her about my sexuality via email, and the reason I told her via email was because I knew that there was a possibility for it to be a really emotional moment, because and I was into her, and she was into me as well, which was interesting. I will say this about her. I always found it so interesting that she even so much as gave me the time of day, because she was like beautiful, you know? And I know all throughout like high school and college and stuff like that, there's no way that a woman that beautiful would even give me the time of day. It did sort of take me a little while to come into myself as far as a look, or being more comfortable within my skin as far as my style or whatever is concerned. So I will say that. And I also had acne like a lot all the way through college. While most people just have it through high school, I had it through college. But after college, it started sort of going away. Like my senior year, I got some Proactive, and then I just got on a regimen of just other stuff. A lot of face wash nowadays. As long as you're on a good regimen, it'll take care of you. But anyway, so yeah, I told her via email because I knew it could be, again, another emotionally charged moment. And I felt as though with her being an actress, I wouldn't want her to try to act like she's okay with it when she's not. Or, if she is okay with it, great. But I wouldn't want to have to put her through that. So I chose to do it via email. And her email response, the first time I read it, was like, oh, okay, cool. It is what it is. And, I was into you too, but, that's all good. I don't think I can do that whole, I don't think that we can talk. I don't think that we could talk knowing that you have a same gender attraction, but, it's all good. We can still be friends. And then I reread and I was like, oh, wow, cool. So, well, at least she doesn't feel badly about it. I feel unfortunate that it didn't work out, but at least she doesn't feel badly about it. But then I reread the email, and I read it with the correct tone of voice that she had, and I was like, "Oh crap!" Like she what she did was the acting in the email, acting like she's all good with it, but she really wasn't. And anyway, long story short, she ultimately, like, very shortly, like months, just a few months after I told her that, she had packed her things and moved like 300 miles up to New York City. So I was like, yikes. But, it is what it is. All of that to say, I kind of wonder if my dad's response was something like that as well. Because even when I talked to my brother about it, he, at first he was like, okay, yeah, that's fine if that's what you think. But then I realized in digging deeper and talking to him more that he kind of believes it's just like a phase. And I'd be like, no, it's really not just a phase. I mean, I'm 29 years old, so that's kind of a long time for a phase. He's like, yeah, but you're still in your 20s or whatever, so it could still just be a phase. And I was like, well, no, but okay. But then, and what you don't want to do is to just pop up at the last minute and be like, hey, yeah, so by the way, I have same gender attractions, and here's my fiance, Bill. You know, like that would be a whole lot for a family to deal with. So I feel as though it's best to just tell it now while I'm single. I'm single. Again. And so that way it's not, because I used to always be like, this is a long video, I'm gonna have to edit this video, but I used to always be like, I don't feel the need to tell anyone about my sexuality until I'm in that relationship that will last the rest of my life, because other than that I'm just dating around, so it's just like, it's not even really confirmed, you know what I mean? But that's not really true, because it's still relevant, I guess, to tell. So yeah, I guess. So anyway, I told my dad, and I think that he might feel some kind of way about it, but tries to not display that. And I appreciate that. I believe that he does truly love me as his son, and that's why he is trying, he wants to do the right thing, even though he might not fully understand it, which is fine. I understand that it's not something that you deal with every day, but I appreciate his love as my dad. If anybody views this video, please save your hate-filled comments if you have any. You know what they say, you learned it in kindergarten. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I was trying to think of something clever and witty to say, but it didn't come to mind, so whatever. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Yeah, peace. Be blessed. Hallelujah.